Inequalities, tripartite. Tripartite inequalities are when we have a variable between two numbers. And when solving, everything must be done to all parts. In other words, there's three places that you're going to be adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing. And when graphing between you need same number of inequalities as what you started with. Okay, so our three steps with inequalities, remember, are to solve, then graph, then interval notation. So let's take a look at our two examples here. So in example 1, we have 2 is less than or equal to 5x plus 7 less than 22. Now the key to starting these is always that we're going to start in the middle where our variable is. So just like when we're solving an equation, we start with the number part. And we're going to add the opposite to our number, which should be a negative 7. Now notice it. I've written it down 3 times. I've got my inequalities. I'm going to just draw a dotted line down here to signify those. I have to keep those. So now I've got negative 5 less than or equal to 5x, which is less than 22 minus 7, which would give me 15. Again, I'm starting in the middle. This time I'm going to be dividing by 5. Again, notice that I've got 3 places where I'm dividing by 5. And I'm going to end up with my final answer as being a negative 1 less than or equal to x less than 3. So I've now solved it. Let's graph it. I'm going to put my two numbers in, which are negative 1 and 3. Remember that when you put these on the graph, they need to be in order from smallest to largest. My negative 1 has an equal, so that means I'm going to put a closed dot on my negative 1. My 3 has just a less than, so it's going to be open dot. And so we've got, we think about this as just being the first part here. Negative 1 is less than x. That means we're going to be, our x is larger than negative 1. So we're going to the right. And 3 is greater than x. So again, we're going to, that one we're going to be going to the left. So our graph is going to be between negative 1 and 3. Let's take a look at our second example. Again, we start in the middle. We're going to add the opposite to our number, which would be a negative 5. And I'm going to have that in 3 places. Again, if you want, you might draw a dotted line to remind you that you have 3 spots to be solving on. That means we're going to get 0 is less than negative 4x, which is less than or equal to 13 minus 5, which would be 8. Now we're going to divide by our negative 4. Now remember, if we divide by a negative, we have to flip the inequality. So we're going to flip the inequality. 0 divided by negative 4 is 0. My inequality is going to go the other direction. There's going to be our x. And then we have, to change both of our inequality directions, we have 8 divided by negative 4 would be negative 2. So now we graph that. I have 0 and I have negative 2. Now again, just because my 0 came first doesn't mean my 0 is a smaller number. Negative 2 is smaller than 0. My 0 is going to be an open dot, and my negative 2 is going to be a closed dot. Now I need to figure out which way I'm going here for my graph. So we have 0 is greater than x. So, or in other words, x is less than 0. So that means we're going to go to the left. And then we have x is greater than negative 2, which means we're going to go to the right. Now we need to put our interval notation, which I forgot to do in our first example, but we'll go back and do that. My numbers are from negative 2 here on this one to 0. Closed dots get brackets. Open dots get parentheses. Back to example 1 with our interval notation. We have a negative 1 and a 3. Again, closed dots get brackets and open dots get parentheses.